Hello, welcome to my video. Today we'll be learning about Java programming. We can start with the introduction. Introduction to Java programming. Welcome to the world of Java programming. Programming language enables humans to write instructions that a computer can perform with precise instructions, computer coordinated application, and systems that run modern world. Sun Microsystems released the Java programming language in 1995. Java is known for being simple, portable, secure, and robust. Though it was released over 20 years ago, Java remains one of the most popular programming languages today. One reason people love Java is the Java Virtual Machine, which ensures the same Java code on that can be run on different operating systems and platforms. Sun Microsystems' slogan for Java was "Write once, run everywhere." You can see this is how a Java program runs. Here is our code, where this is just printing a simple hello world. The file name is helloworld.java. It is being sent to a compiler. Then through the Java virtual machine, they are all of the operating systems like Unix, Windows API, and Mac OS. All of them are using the same Java virtual machine. Programming languages are compromised. Languages are composed of syntax, the specific instruction which Java understands. We write syntax in file to create programs, which are executed by computer to perform the desired task. Let's start with the universal greeting for a programming language. We'll explore the syntax in the next lecture. Okay, first thing, let's do it. We're looking at a computer program. So this is the computer program written in Java, and then we'll run the code in the text editor and see on the screen what will it print. So this run button, we'll run it. Now we can see that we put hello world here, it's printing hello world. We can also put welcome 2024 and run it. And as you can see, it printed it out. Now we'll learn more deep into it. For this introduction part, we can move on. Now we come to the module where it says hello Java file. Java runs on different platforms, but programmers write it in the same way. Let's explore some rules of writing Java. In the last exercise, we saw the hello world.java. Java file have a extension called .java. Some programs are one file, other are hundreds of files. Inside hello world.java, we have a class. Here we can see public class hello world and semicolons. We'll talk about classes more in future, but for now, think of them as a single concept. The hello world is a concept. Hello world printer. Other classes concept could be bicycle, or saving account. We mark the domain of this concept using curly braces. Syntax inside the curly braces is part of the class. Each file has a primary class named after the other file. Our class name hello world and our file name hello world. Every word is capitalized. Inside the class, we had a main method which lists our program tags. Public static void main bracket, string, big brackets, array, arguments, bracket close, and then the curly brackets. Like classes, we have used curly braces to mark the beginning and the end of a method. Public, static, and void are syntax we'll learn about in the future lesson. Let's go back here again. Like classes, we use curly braces to mark the beginning and ending of a method. String arguments is a placeholder for information we want to pass to our program. The syntax is necessary for program to run, but more advanced than we need to explore at the moment. Again, public, static, and void are syntax we'll learn about in future lessons. String argument is a placeholder for information we want to pass out in our program. The syntax is necessary for program to run, but more advanced, more than we need to explore at the moment. Our program also displays the text "Hello World" on the screen. This was accomplished using a print statement. System out println hello world. We'll learn more about print statement in next exercise. Now let's do a task. In this task, the text editor has a file hello_u.java that contains a hello_u class with a main method. Inside main, add a statement which prints hello some name exclamation mark with their name replacing some name. Make sure to end the statement with a semicolon. For example, if her name is Maria, the program would print "Hello Maria!" exclamation mark. Let's do it. Let's run the code. As you can see, we have got an error here. Now, you would have not expected this error, but it's a simple error. It's a syntax error. We didn't put the semicolon at the end of our statement. This is always an important thing to know. We put the semicolon, we run it, and now we have another error. Let's see what that error is talking about. The error says in line 3 it cannot find a symbol. System.println. So, did we notice what did we miss? We missed out and the ln. These are together. So this would be system out.println and we have the semicolon. And now the code prints hello Maria. There you go. That's your first ever code and your first ever statement you printed. Now we can also try doing this from scratch. For now, ignore this part. We'll write it again. Hello you. Usually I prefer writing the braces like this, but you can follow this as well. Then first we wrote the class hello you. Now here we'll do public static void main class string braces arguments and then we'll open curly braces. Now we'll print again system.out.println and we'll print hello themes. Don't forget a semicolon. Now we can remove this part and let's see if the code still runs when you wrote it from scratch. There you go, it runs hello James. Now let's move on to the next part. This part we're going to talk about print statements. Let's take a closer look at the instruction from our previous program. System out println hello world and the semicolon. Print statements output information to screen, also referred to as the output terminal. Let's break this line of code down a little more. Don't worry, if some of the terms here are new to you, we'll dive into what all of these are much more detail later on. System. System is a built-in Java class containing useful tools for our programs. So you can see that the system is over here that we used for our print statement. Out. Out refers to output. Let's see what will happen if we put output here instead of out. And you can see that it didn't work. So we'll just use out and there you go, it prints it out. Now println. Now this is short for print line. So basically it's telling that to print this line we just wrote. We use we can use system out println whenever we want to run the program to create a new line on the screen after outputting a value. Here you can see we can even copy paste and run it just to check again. Now you can see they printed in a new line. Hello world was in a new line, and then today is a great day to code is a new line. After hello world is printed, the output terminal creates a new line for the next statement to be outputted. This program will print each statement on a new line like this, as you can see here. We also can output information using system out.print. So notice you are using print here instead of println. Unlike system out println, this type of print statement outputs everything on the same line. For example, hello world, you can notice that we haven't used println here, just the print. So they printed on the same line. We can even try it in our compiler. There you go. And you can see that the hello world printed on the same thing. Now let's move on. In this example, if you were to use println or print again, the next text will print immediately after a word on the same line. It's important to remember where you place the program's cursor. If you use println, the cursor is moved to next line. If you use print, the cursor stays on the same line. Note, going forward after this exercise, all exercises will use println to output values. You will get to practice using system out print statements in the checkpoints. However, now let's move on to our course. Let's do one small program. Now the instruction is that inside main and underneath the print statement, system out println, it says let's play hide and seek, and there's a semicolon, outputting the statement in two different statements. So what it wants us to do is it says output the following two statement using print out. Now let's move on to the instructions. This is just a small practice we can do. Inside main and underneath the print statement, system out println, let's play hide and seek. Output the following two statements using system out print. First, you can do it. Let's go back to the thing. There you go. This is our initial. We can revert it back. And then what it wants us to print is you can just copy and paste this, change this to 2, and let's see if it worked. And you can see that it says let's play hide and seek, and then all of them got printed into the same line because here we have used print only, not the println. If we had used println, then it would be all printed in separate lines. Now we have another step. Now it says underneath your previous statement, output the following two texts using the println. So here again, we can go ahead and put system out println one system out println let's test this. As you can see now it successfully printed in another line. But you can notice the one is still up because here it's using print only, so it got continuity. But After 1, the new line has been made. Now let's move on to next concept. Here, committing codes. Writing code is an exciting process of instructing the computer to complete fascinating tasks. Code is also a commenting code. Writing code is an exciting process of instructing the computer to complete commenting code. Writing code is an exciting process of instructing the computer to complete fantastic tasks. Code is also read by people and we want our intentions to be clear to human just like we want our instructions to be clear to computer. Fortunately, we are not limited to writing syntax that perform a task. We can also write comments, notes to human readers of our code. The comments are not executed, so there is no need for valid syntax with the comment. When comments are short, we use the single line syntax. Example you can see here, it's a single line syntax. When comments are long, we use the multi-line syntax. You can see here. It's open here, the comment is written here, and then the comment is closed. Another type of commenting option is the Java doc comment, which is represented by these symbols. Java comments are used to create documentation for API's application programming interface. When writing Java doc comments, remember that they will eventually be used in documentation that your user might read. So make sure to be especially thoughtful when writing comments. Java doc comments are typically written before the declaration of field, methods, and classes, we'll co- will- which we'll cover later in this course. The following class accomplishes the following tasks. You can see the comment. Here, how a comment would look like in an actual program. As you can see, there is a class called comment example. Now, in the main function, we can see that it is printing using the println. As you can notice, there is a line as well, print line. This program has comments. You can see the comments has been written here. Now, comments are different from printing to the screen when using system out println. These comments don't show up in our terminal. They are only for people who read our code in the text editor. Now, let's do a task. The file timeline.java has plain text information about Java. Plain text facts are invalid syntax. Again, the file terminal.java we have here has a plain text information about Java. You can see here these are the plain text. Now, the plain text facts that are given here are not valid syntax. This does not follow any syntax, so they will be an error. As you can see, it's causing the program to crash. So we use single line comment for the first fact. Let's go ahead and do that. And comment it to single line format. Then we'll change this line into a comment. There you go. Let's run it. Now it has successfully been done. Now in our part 2, our program is still broken. We have already skipped that part. As you can see, it runs successfully, so we can just run it again because we already corrected this part. We can see that we still can see this being printed. You are a fun language because we have used the system out print line. Now let's move on to next. Semicolons and white space. As we saw the comments, reading code is just as important as writing code. We should write code that is easy for other people to read. Those people can be coworkers, friends, or even yourself. Java does not intercept Java does not interpret white space, the area of the code without syntax, but humans use white space to read without difficulty. Functionally, those two code samples are identical. As you can see, system out print line Java, system out print line Lava, system out print line Guava. This, you can see all these statements are same here, but here there is no spacing, but here there is spacing, but it is still running and it's not causing the program to do any error. Let's move on. Now, they will print the same exact text to the screen, but which would you prefer to read? Imagine if it was hundred of instructions. White space would be essential because if there were hundreds of lines in one single line like this, it will be tedious to read and fix any bugs. But if it's written like this with the proper spacing and formatting, it will look really nice and better to debug. Java does interpret semicolons. Semicolons are used to mark the end of a statement, one line of code that performs a single task. The only statement we have seen so far is system out println, and where it is sending out the message. Let's contrast statement with the curly braces. The curly braces mark the scope of our classes and methods. So again, let's contrast statement with curly braces. Curly braces mark the scope of our class and method. There are semicolons at the end of a curly bracket. Now, first instruction. The code languagefacts.java, which is this, prints information about Java screen, about Java to the screen. Unfortunately, the writer has avoided using white space. As you can see, this looks really cluttered. Now, our task as a programmer is to make sure the file is easier to read by adding a new line after its statement. So we can go ahead and add a new line, and even for more clarity, we can just put one spacing. There you go. And when we run the program, you can see that it's running normal, like it was running before, sprinting in separate lines. But now we can even make it readable from here in the code itself. Now, second task. Inside the main function, which is this, we are supposed to add a statement, a new statement printing how you feel about coding. Start the message with programming is. Remember to place a semicolon at the end of the statement. So let's add a new statement. System out dot print line co-programming is fun. And let's add an emoji. Now let's just do this. And we're supposed to add a semicolon, and don't forget to go close the quotation. There you go. Let's run it. And as you can see, programming is fun, and this is complete. Now let's move on to next part. Compilation catching errors. Java is a compiled programming language, meaning the code we write in .java file is transformed into bytecodes by a compiler before it is executed by the Java virtual machine on your computer. A compiler is a program that translates human-friendly programming language into other programming language that compile and execute. As you can see, this is my program.java. This is a Java extension file. And then you can see the compilers here. After this, the program goes to the compiler. Then the compiler converts them into classes dot class extension and is taken to the Java virtual machine. It's converted into bytecodes, and then that's how the program is executed. In the previous exercise, I have like automatically compiled and run the files for us. Off-platform development environment can also compile and run files for us. But it's important to understand this aspect of Java development so we don't do it ourselves. So we would do it ourselves. Compiling the the compiling process catches mistakes before the computer runs our code. So what does that mean? Again, the compiling process catches mistakes before the computer runs our code. So we can learn more about it here. The Java compiler runs a series of checks while it transforms the code. The code that does not pass the checks will not be compiled. This exercise will use an interactive terminal. Code Academy has a listen and command line if you would like to learn more. For example, with a file called plankton, plankton, plankton the Java, we could combine it with the terminal code command like this. So let's go ahead and do it. Java. In our case, it's compiling the Java. So let's check the work. It says could not find the thing. Okay, now we can see we missed to write this. Let's check our work. It ran successfully. Now we can actually view the thing inside the thing. Like so, a successful. So we created a class. Now a successful compilation produces a dot class file. We can locate it here. Dot class file. Now we can access the dot class file. And I believe we got an error. Let's move on to the task. Let's practice compiling and executing a file by entering a command in the terminal. Our text editor contains a broken program, so we can see how compiler helps us catch mistakes. Don't make any corrections. In the terminal, type the command javac compiling the Java, which we already did, and we pressed enter return. And we saw that we got the error message. Now we'll resolve in the next. Now here say, what error did you see? Let's see the error. We can start off from here. We can see that compiling.java at line 6, it says it is expecting a semicolon. So let's go ahead and put it here, semicolon. Now in this, it says in the terminal type ls and then press enter. Now it shows that we have a file here, compiling.java. Then basically ls is short for list. There is only one file there that we can see compiling.java. We did not successfully compile the file because of the error. Let's hit the check work now. Okay, checked it off. Now let's go. Add the missing semicolon, then hit the check work. And then we successfully did it. Let's run the file. It does not run like this. We'll learn about that in the next part. What if we do this? Java compiling. Let's move on to another topic, compilation, creating executables. Now, compilation helps us catch an error. Now that we have corrected the file, let's walk through a successful compilation. As a reminder, we can compile a .java file from the terminal using the command javac and then the file name. If the file compiles successfully, this command produces an executable class, filename.class. The executable means we can run this program from terminal. We run the executable using the command java, the name of the file, without the extension. Note that we leave off the .class part of the file name. There is a full compilation cycle as an example. Within the file welcome.java public class, there is a class called welcome, and then in the main function, you can see it's printing welcome to Code Academy's Java class or Java course. We have one file welcome.java. We compile with the command javac, Java compiler, welcome to Java, the file name. The terminal shows no errors, which indicates a successful compilation. We now have two files, welcome.java and original file with Java syntax, welcome.class. Our compiled file with Java bytecode ready to be executed by the Java virtual machine. We can execute the compiled class with the command java welcome. The following is printed to the screen. Welcome to Code Academy's Java course. Now let's move on to the small tasks. Let's compile and execute our program. Now we can run and just check the list what files we have and then let's do the check work and you got the check mark. Now compile the file. Now we need to compile the file. So what we can do is Java compiling. You can see we didn't create the file. Java. We didn't get a class file. That's why it didn't work. So we'll create a class file. Now we can hit ls. Now we can do Java compiling, which will run this class file, and it successfully did. We can return. You can see ls work done. Can move on to the next topic. Java review. Putting it all together. In this lesson, we have started writing our first program in Java. We also learned rules and guidelines for how to write Java programs. Java programs have at least one class and one main method. Again, let's go back. Now, in this lesson, we have started writing our first Java program. We have learned our rules and guidelines on how to write Java program. Java program have at least one class and one main method. Each class represents one real-world idea. The main method runs the tasks of the program. Java comments add helpful context to human readings. Java has white space, curly braces, and semicolons. White spaces for human to read code easily. Curly braces mark the scope of a class and method. Semicolon mark the end of a statement. Java is a compiled language, compiling catching mistakes in our code. Compilers transfer code into an executable class. Now let's do a small task. The text editor holds an empty file named review.java. Now here you go, it's review.java. This is the only file that the text editor currently has. Now we need to define a public function. We need to define a public class named review using open and curly braces for the scope of the class. Remember, we don't need semicolons for classes and methods. We only use semicolons. Let's do, we forgot, let's take the hint. Okay, public class, excuse me, public class dog, curly braces, that's a public class. And now we needed to define it as a review. Go, let's run it. There you go, we did the first part. Now let's move on. Now, this code produces an error because Java needs a main method. Methods and functions are same thing. Main method, define the main method using curly braces of the class. Okay, so public static void main curly braces string argument. There you go. Let's run it. Okay. Now let's see. Looks like we have an error. Double check your syntax. So what do you think we have an error? Is it this? And there you go. It was the S that we had wrong. Let's see what it would do if we just remove this part as a whole. And there you go. We got an error. So let's save the error. The main method not found in class review. Please define the main method as public static void main string arguments or a JavaFix application class must extend JavaFix application. So we'll just do run it again. Now we have an error. It's giving an error because I think it's currently in this state. Now it says inside of the curly braces for the main method, the main method executes the tags of a system class as a single line comment. So it wants inside. So it wants it here. We can put the comment, copy, paste, and let's run it. And there you go. Successfully worked. Now it says below the comment, write a statement that prints the following statement saying my first Java program from scratch. Okay, we can do that. So system out dot print line then semicolon and run. There you go, successfully worked. Now let's do it again just to learn more from the scratch. So we need a public class name review. Then inside this, we need the main function public static void main because it means return type is nothing. So we just put void. Run it. We got an error. It says expected a semicolon somewhere. Accidentally put this. Let's run it again. And there you go, first program. Let's move on. Now let's check our syllabus. We just completed this. Now we're in the Java program structures. We have more to go. Java program structure. Java programs has a specific structures. Let's take a closer look at the Hello World program, line by line. Java programs have a specific structure in how the code is written. There is a key element that all Java programs share. Again, Java programs have a specific structure. Let's take a closer look at the Hello World program line by line that's given below here. Java programs have a specific structure in how the code is written. There are key elements that all Java programs follow. The program is here. We have the text of a program inside the file called Hello World Java. So this program outputs the message Hello World to the monitor. So as you can see, there's a public class named Hello World. You can see there is a main function which prints Hello World. Now the program writes Hello World to your terminal when it runs. Let's talk about case sensitivity. Java is a case sensitive language. Case sensitivity means that syntax, the words our computer understands, must match the case. Again, case sensitivity means that syntax, the word our computer understands, must match the case. For example, the Java command for outputting the text to the screen is system out println. If you were if you were to type system with a small s, out println or all caps like this, the compiler would not know that your intention was to use this or not. Let's go over the Hello World.java program line by line. So the comment. This program outputs the message Hello World to the monitor. This is a single line comment that documents the code. The compiler will ignore everything after this to end of the line. Comments provide information outside of the syntax. Classes. Public class Hello World. So this is the class code here. This is the class of the file. All Java programs are made up of at least one class. The class name must match the file name. Our file name is Hello World, so is the class name. Our class is Hello World. We capitalize every word, a style known as Pascal case. The Java variables and methods are named in a similar style called camel case, where every word after the first is capitalized. The curly braces, open curly brace and the closing curly brace, mark the scope of the code. Everything inside the curly braces is part of the code. Methods. Now, this is a method or a function. Methods and function are the same thing. Public static void main string arguments. This is a method. Every Java program must have a method called main, which is this. A method is a sequence of tasks for the program to execute. The main method holds all of those instructions for our program. Statements. System out println hello world. This code uses the method println to send the text to hello world to the terminal as output. Println comes from an object called out. Again, the code uses a method println to send the text hello world to the terminal as output. Println comes from an object called out. So it's coming from this. So it always goes backwards. This is coming from this and this is coming from this, which is responsible for various types of outputs. Objects are packages of states and behavior, and they are often modeled on real world things. Out is located within system, which is another object responsible for representing our computer within the program. We can access part of an object within a dot, which is known as a dot notation. Again, out is located within system, which is another object responsible for representing our computer within the program. We can access the parts of an object with a dot, which is known as a dot notation. Again, one last time. Out is located within system, which is another object responsible for representing our computer with the program within the program. We can access parts of an object with the dot notation. This line of code is a statement because it performs a single task. Statement always conclude with a semicolon. You can see here. While the methods or classes do not need to end with a semicolon. You can see here. You can see here. This code uses the method println to send the text hello world to the terminal as output. Println comes from an object called out, which is responsible for various types of output. Objects are packages of states and behavior. We already went through that. White space. Java allows a junction of white space, tabs, spaces, new lines to create the code that is easier to read. The compiler ignores white space, but humans need it. Use the white space to indent and separate line of code. White space increases the readability of your code. Practice. The structure of a Java program will feel familiar the more you work with this language. Continue learning at Code Academy and you'll be a pro in no time. Now let's do some practice questions. Java is compiled language, meaning the code we write translated is translated by another program into a language that comes to understand. That is true statement. There you go. Compiled Java classes are run on the Java virtual machine, and this is another program mix. In Java, what is the purpose of leaving comment in the code? The first option is they provide human readability notes that clarify thinking. They are how words are printed to the screen. This is wrong. Provided checks they provide checks that the compiler must pass. Incorrect. They are only present in compiled code. No. So we can select this. Correct. Comments help future readers of code understand your intention. Next. What would the name of the file be if it contained the following code? As you can see, always remember name of the class will be same as the name of the file. So it is asking for a file, not a class. So it will be this. There you go. The name of the file and the name of the class must match. What if we select this? I think we can come back. Now another part. What is missing from this Java program? Public class language facts. Cover the history of the Java program. The main method public static void mean this or a single line comment or the curly braces that mark the scope of this code or the line to compile. So the answer is this because every code needs a method and a class. Every program must have a main method which executes the tasks of the program. Let's move on. The following code will run without an error. Let's see. So you can see the class. It's correct. It's the class name language facts. There's a function, main function or main method named main, which is the main one. Now let's see. System print line. So it's gonna print Java is a class-based language and it has semicolon. So this is correct. It has semicolon. It's correct. But here it does not have a semicolon. So it will be false. And the code has a statement that does not end with a semicolon, which causes an error. That's very true. Let's move on. Now it says comment the code with the correct syntax. Public class timeline. The timeline is the class and main method, and then it wants us to comment it. So let's comment it out. This, then it will be this, and then it will be this. Let's check the answer, and this was wrong. supposed to be the other side. Let's move on. What will the following code print to the screen? Name of the class is hello you. This is the main method, and it says hello code with the exclamation mark. So let's see if it contains an error. I don't see any possible error because there's semicolon. So this is what it prints, and the double quotes will not be printed. There you go, correct. Then this can move on. Now this is a planting tree project. Let's complete this project. So write your first Java program from scratch by introducing yourself to users and planting a tree for them. You'll practice creating a class, defining the main method, and organizing the print statement. Here's what expected. Check off all the project tasks as you complete each one. If you get stuck, use the AI generated hint to get back on track. Thing is this one. And then this is not exam, so you can refer to other resources to help you complete the process. So start the project. Now first, it says introduce yourself to users and plant a tree for them. Now it says define your tree class in this file. Start this. So the first task is check off the tasks as you go. Once all are completed, complete the project. Now, whenever you get stuck, you can use the AI generated, and it's here. So task one. We're starting, we're creating a class. We're starting with a blank Java file named tree.java. Define a class that allows uh, that follows the Java naming convention. So let's define it. There you go. With this part. Now this code produces an error because let's run it. I don't see a run. See, as you can see, as public should be declared in the file name. There you go. So this is what we did wrong. In here, instead of writing tree, we wrote Java. Let's save it here. Now we don't get the naming convention error because tree and tree is the same name as the class name. And then now our error is the second part, second task. This code produces an error because our program needs a main method. That's the error. Define a method inside the curly braces of the uh, pro, uh, braces of the tree class. So let's define a method. Let's comment method and public static void main. There you go. Let's save it. It works. And let's move on. It says write a comment in the main. Write a comment in the main that describes the task it will perform. Now in here it says it. So we are going to introduce ourselves and print a tree to the screen. You will use a single line comment or multi-line for the comment. My name is HootCoding. Um, and I will print a Christmas tree in the terminal using Java. Save it. This part. We can continue this in next video. Until then, bye bye.